Welcome, everybody, to the Alien.1976 variant, the, quote, older brother of the Alien.1356, which I made a video on a week ago. I also have this variant on a floppy disk, which I will go ahead and also copy over. And even though the file I have is a COM file, this variant infects both EXE and COM and OVL, just like its predecessor. It was also made by TK, or was it PK? It must have been PK Man. Yeah, I think it was PK. So it was also made by him, and I have an infected COM file with the virus. So once again, let's go ahead and look at our memory, and you will see that just like before, I do have upper memory installed. All of my device drivers are there. And I have about 81 kilobytes of that. So now let's go ahead and run the virus, Alien 2. Nothing appears to happen, but now the virus has been loaded into memory and will now infect files. And for this, I'm going to go over to my CD-ROM drive, look at the copy of the DOS directory I made on here, and run the mem command again. Wait for that to spin up. Okay. Now you will see that we no longer have any upper memory. It's now 0 bytes, so just like its predecessor, it stealths upper memory. DOS reports the upper memory area as 0, even though device drivers are still loaded there. And a lot of people were confused about my last video when I said it's a stealth virus, but you can still see file size increase. It's a stealth virus only in memory. So it stealths its presence in memory. You can't see it on the list of programs that are in memory, but the file size itself is not stealthed. You can see it increase. Interesting side effect of this virus that is not on its predecessor is that because it stealths memory, quick memory scan actually will hang the machine, and so will the actual memscan command I have here. It won't run because of the memory effect of this virus. So memscan just hangs the entire machine. Control-Alt-Delete actually does work in this case. And so I'll go ahead and restart, and then I'll show you the next payload. Now that we're restarting back into DOS, another interesting effect of this virus is that infected files, so let's go ahead and infect some of the files. You know the routine here. We have test1.com, 19,742 bytes, just to prove it. We run it, it's not a stealth virus, so we can see the file size increase. Now, so this one's slightly larger, as the name suggests, 1976 is larger than 1356. So test1.com grows to 21,720 bytes length. Let's go ahead and take a look at test2.com. But instead of looking at it in the wide format, let's go ahead and look at it in the list format, because I want to draw attention to the date when it was modified. The 5th month, 31st date, 1994 at 6:22 a.m. and it's 9,432 bytes. We run it. The virus is actually very sneaky. It resets the date, just to prove to you, it resets the date to the last date when it was modified. So while the file size increases, the virus did write code into this file. The date and time stamp on this file did not change. And just to prove to you, the date itself is 1998. So if the virus hadn't done this, the test2.com the date would have been changed to the 10th, 10/1998 at whatever time it is now. So this virus is sneaky that it resets the date and time stamp to when it was last modified to prevent detection. But the file size itself is not stealth, and you can see that increase. So that's pretty cool. Looking at test3.exe, same thing will happen to it. Infected, 10,040 bytes. Our goat file, 10,450 bytes. We run that. It's now 12,440 bytes. And this variant does not infect files smaller than 2048 bytes, 2048 bytes. So again, looking at goat.com, 66 bytes, I wrote this file, we run it, it will not get infected. It will stay 66 bytes. Okay, for the next one last interesting thing before we look at the memory. Okay, so hopefully it didn't infect this. I'm going to make a file of just spaces over and over and over and over and over again. And I'll be right back when this finishes. Okay, so now I have a file. It's just a bunch of spaces. I'm going to go ahead and save it, because I didn't get to show you this on the last virus. But let's go ahead and save it to the C drive, where I will go ahead and name it /goat.exe. So I'm saving this text file full of spaces as an exe file to prove to you it doesn't look for the MZ when infecting exe files, it just looks for the extension exe. So I'm going to save this, and it will probably get infected the instant it's saved. But the interesting thing is that the virus will not avoid infecting these types of wrong exe files. So let's go ahead and save it. It might have gotten infected immediately, so I'll go out of that. I'll take a look at goat.exe. So, I highly doubt I made a file of 38,474 bytes. But let's go ahead and type this. So if it's not infected, it will now be infected because I'm typing it. Very curious to see if the virus actually infected the end of this file. So right now it's full of spaces, as you can see. It's still printing out. Yep, I did not write this text onto the end of the file. The virus has actually infected this file. And you can't see all of the virus code, because it's not ASCII, it won't be displayed there, but the virus actually did infect this innocent-looking exe file, which was really not an exe file. So that's pretty funny. So the virus does not avoid those types of files. Of course, if I ran it, it would crash, so I'm not going to do that. So let's go ahead and delete it and move on. So now that I've infected some files, let's go ahead and look at the memory. And for this, I'm going to use the debug, like last time, running from my CD-ROM drive so it doesn't get infected. And I think it's loaded at 9EC8 or around here again, so I'll just keep dumping until I find it again. And right here we should see, here we go, MKS, nav, com, exe, ovl, com, exe, ovl. So those are the file extensions it infects. I don't know what MKS and NAV mean, so I might look for those strings somewhere in the file and do something else. But for now, you can definitely see the com, exe, and ovl file extensions it lists there. Then the text below, look, following file is just eliminated. There must be alien inside! Exclamation point, question mark. Alien 1.3, the next generation, written by PK on August 93. So if you remember, the other one was written April 93, I believe. I don't remember. I think it's April. And this one's written August 93, which is pretty funny. I especially like the grammar on, look, following file is just eliminated. So let's go ahead. So that obviously, if you know me, has something to do with the payload. And so I'm going to go ahead and tell you the payload. So if you remember, the last alien variant I looked at was called 4 days because it activated on 4 days. The 1st, the 9th, the 13th, and the 23rd. This one only activates on one of those days, the 23rd. So this one is officially, by the way, on the antivirus reports I'm putting out, this one was detected as alien on all of them, whereas the last alien variant was detected as 4 days by some of them and alien by others. This one is universally acknowledged as the alien virus. because it only activates on one day, and that is the 23rd of any month. I don't need to restart to set the date. The virus will activate immediately as soon as I change it. So let's go ahead and change it to the 23rd of October, 1999, because why not? So now it is the 23rd of October, a completely benign month. Nothing could possibly go wrong. Let's actually, before I make something go wrong, let's go ahead and take a look at the alien virus, Alien 2. Does nothing because it's already infected. Just like the other version of this virus, any uninfected file triggers the payload, but any infected file does nothing, as shown here. So we have Roso01, the goat file. Oh, the goat file does trigger it. That's interesting. That is very interesting. So yes, there is the text that it prints out on the 23rd instead of running the file. Look, following file is just eliminated. There must be alien inside! Exclamation point, question mark. So that's pretty hilarious, but the user might not want to see a message like that randomly appear when they try to run something. So obviously from this, it doesn't actually avoid, it doesn't look for its file size limit. It infects files of, or it does this for files of any size now. So look in the DOS directory for some exe files. That's not what I wanted to do. Any exe files in here. msav. Uh-oh. I'm beginning to see a pattern here. mwav, Microsoft Windows Antivirus, which is actually able to run on Windows 3.0. Ah, wow, it can destroy that too. I almost sort of feel sorry for these files I'm just destroying. So so far, all you've seen it do is just print a message. But all of these files, I'll just go ahead and tell you, are instantly destroyed when they're run. So they don't even run, but they're not just not running. The virus is overwriting them. Oh, and I didn't show you the fact that it also infects OVL files like the other one. But on this date, it will actually overwrite OVL files. Since I can't run the OVL file, I don't think it'll actually show the message. But typing it, we can see that the virus overwrote it, the first text, with Alien 1.3, the next generation, written by PK on August 93, 1993, basically. So again, just like the last variant, it overwrites the first bytes of any file, execom OVL, with that text right there. Only it doesn't just hang the machine. When you run exe and com, like I've been showing you, it actually prints out the message. But there's something even cooler it does that I will let you appreciate for a few minutes. So let's continue to run files. On the 10th file run, it presents a graphical payload. Expand, load fix. I'll keep running until I get the payload. There we go. Haha, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Alright, so on the 10th file run, I believe that was 10 anyway, you get this cool graphical alien payload with the text alien filling the entire screen and doing some sort of weird flashing thing. And if you slow down the speed on the video, actually, it's not just my refresh rate or the camera that's causing that flicker. It prints out the diagonal aliens first, and then goes back and fills in all the other aliens, and then clears the screen and repeats the process. So the flicker you're actually seeing, yeah, it looks okay on the camera, is actually what I'm seeing right now, which is pretty cool. So it rapidly flashes alien. I should probably put a seizure warning on this video, and during this time, Control-Delete, virus disabled it. Tut tut. Alright, let's go ahead and hard reset and look at what happened to our files. So, let's go ahead and look at some of the files we ran. I believe one of them was msav, so I'm going to go ahead and type msav.exe. And, well, it's hard to see it, but at least you can see that part of the string Virus.Alugu 1.3 generation. Yeah, so you can see it tried to write it to that file. And it probably did. It's just the type command isn't displaying the full text. I remember I did run mwav.exe, which is a Windows 16-bit executable. But again, it's prey to this virus. So that's virus text, I guess, on the end of it, appended onto there. What did I run? Expand.exe. So I just came back to this one last time, and I slowed the speed of this VM way, way, way down, and I ran the payload again, and this is what it looks like. And I'm assuming this is actually closer to the actual speed of what this virus is supposed to look like. So this is what a user running a computer at that time would have seen. It doesn't flicker as much, and in my opinion it looks pretty cool. Possibly cooler than if it was faster. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's about it, guys. See you next time.